Yes, Arsenal community weekly surgery is open on a Friday night in the southeast on the red carpet with Albert JTV, episode 31, people, with Lord Granville, Ramsgate bad boy. But before we get into the weekly surgery intro, people, let's get started. Footballing community, waiting time is now over. The Albert JTV practice is now open. The surgery required is Premier League talk and any other business. Let's get to work. Welcome to the weekly surgery. Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV for episode 31 of weekly surgery. Specifically, let's talk Arsenal. Yeah, man, episode 31, man. My last episode was with, I think it was with Judges and Kenny Ken. But yeah, man, before we bring weekly surgery back, it's been a while, people. As I like to say, bust up the like button. We are live also on Instagram Live. But what it is with Instagram Live, people, you can't, even if you comment, it won't show up on StreamYard yet. What a shame. But you can do it through the X feed. Sorry, let me rephrase that. The Twitter feed, stroke X. And also we are live on YouTube, and it's also going across Facebook if you click on the link. But yeah, man, great to get my fantastic guest on who's not been on for quite a while. He's been too busy. My phone call. No, he hasn't really been doing that. I'm not going to blast him like that on a live stream. But people, welcome to Lord Granville from Ramsgate. G Talks Arsenal. Welcome back to the channel, my friend.
No, man, it's all good, man. Absolute pleasure, man. But like you say, I'm good. Obviously busy. For those of you who don't know, I used to teach, went back to teaching September of last year. So I forgot just how demanding being a teacher is in terms of like marking, planning, parents' evenings, and all of that. So yeah, I've not been on doing the whole streams and podcasts for a while. So but obviously anytime you come calling out, but I have to make time, man, to support you, bro. So definitely. But yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. Just obviously looking forward to the show. Can't wait to talk because there's a lot to talk about.
Yeah, there is. I'm also going on the 12 Man podcast, people, at 9 p.m. with Sam Potts. So it's a double session tonight on YouTube Friday Night Live for me. But yeah, plenty to talk about, man. I did want to sort of talk about Arsenal generally anyway as a content creator, but a particular player. But we'll get to that. I want to do some housekeeping before we get started, though. I want to big up 30, sorry, people. Can't get my words out. Gunnar Russ, for his great Arsenal prints, photography wise. I mentioned it last time. His Instagram and his email contact is in the bio, so people check out his work. I got one there, the beautiful print, beautiful print, great size. He's also got it in different styles as well. I mean, get the other picture up as well. So people, when you watch this back, either now or when you watch it back on the YouTube, or maybe even on the Twitter feed as well. Or you might even click on the link on Facebook when you get round to doing it. Check out Gunnar Russ. His details, like I said, are the link are in the bio. And also, I've put it on my Twitter feed as well. So people check out his Arsenal prints. Brilliant. Get Russ to retire, man, so he can take Jenny, the wife, to Marbella, retire and watch Arsenal, you know, in the sun, in the sunshine. But other housekeeping as well, people. Let me get the screen back on. Gee, I obviously sent it to you before we went live. I got it from work. I saw it. I think it went out about 2 hours before Emma Hayes' press conference. Interesting words, man. People don't know the background story. Obviously, Arsenal ladies won the Conti Cup final. Got two. The same day played Manchester City actually. 1-0 in extra time. Seen Black Seniors. Obviously, there's altercation between Emma Hayes and Jonas Iderville. There's no love lost between those two anyway. When he first came to Arsenal, because he does have that thing about him, Jonas, where he just very spiky, very spiky.
Yeah.
But I listened to the press conference. I gotta be honest. I'm like, the fact that she didn't kind of retract or apologize not too long after the final itself was one thing. She doubled down. And obviously we saw the press conference today. My main man James Green asking the questions, fellow Gooner there. I recognize the the Essex dulcet tones. What did you make of it, man?
You know what it is, yeah? It's like, first of all, when it happened, I didn't like it when it first happened, because I immediately thought, you know what? Sport is competitive, right? It's competitive, and sometimes those emotions can spill over. I mean, I played Saturday and Sunday league football for many years, you know, as a youngster, and I saw my fair share of yellow cards and red cards and incidents on the, as you can imagine, on the touchline and so forth. At the same time, it's like you have the luxury of hindsight, and I'm also a very reflective person as well. And obviously, and as I've got older, I've got a lot better at kind of controlling my emotions, but I've also got a lot better at looking in the mirror and reflecting on the things I've said, the things I've done. And I think it comes down to accountability. And for me, she showed zero accountability. Sometimes everybody makes mistakes in life. Like I say, sport, it's any type of sport, it's competitive, emotions can spill over. But she's had X amount of time between the incident and then this press conference. And for me, her response, I just think, you know, she was banging on about conversations she's had with her son. I just really hope, like, obviously her son, first of all, one, didn't see the incident, and two, didn't see a response in that press conference, because she's not really taught him any kind of life lesson. So for me, it's about accountability. We can all make mistakes, but the most important thing is that we just got to hold our hands up and say, you know what, I was wrong. I shouldn't have done it. I'm sorry, it won't happen again. And that's something that I've learned. It's something I wasn't very good at when I was younger. But it's something, as I've got older, I've a little bit wiser, a little bit more sensible. I've learned that accountability and just acknowledging when you've done something wrong is really, really important. So for me personally, like, forget sports, she needs to go through some kind of self-growth, because you know, can't take away what, you know, who she is, what she is, what she's achieved, etc. in her kind of professional career. But as an individual, as a human being, I wasn't very impressed.
Yeah, it's left. I couldn't believe what I was listening to, if I'm going to be honest, G. I thought, well, you can't have a situation. I said it at the time, I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but you can't have a situation where you have an altercation like that, and then you come out and talk about male aggression. I mean, the only aggressor I saw, really, to be honest with you, was her.
And this was the thing. I remember at the time, me and you had the conversation of, like, you know, what if the shoe was on the other foot? Oof, you know, and what if he had approached her in the same way, manner, or aggression that she approached him? We're having a completely different conversation here. So, you know, ultimately, it's what she did was wrong. And if she didn't initially, which I could understand. I mean, initially when it happened and the instant reaction, sometimes, I'll be honest with you, sometimes I feel for people who are in the spotlight in sport, because even after the incidents happen, you don't have enough time to process, to calm down. All of a sudden, there's a camera shoved in your face. So I can even understand, even directly after, if she wasn't very reflective at that point. But we're talking how long now?
That was Easter Sunday. That game,
Easter Sunday to now, and she hasn't showed any kind of humility, any kind of acknowledgement, any kind of remorse. Yeah, it's not a good look, and I can see why she is widely disliked.
Yeah, she's got that.
I can see why.
Yeah. That I don't think she came across well at all in that.
Not at all.
Reciting poetry and like, come on, man. Like, this is not Eric Cantona days back in whenever it was, when he made the seagulls follow the trawler.
Exactly.
But big up to the chat when you do arrive. Smash the like button, like I said. Audio listeners, this will go live on Spotify and also on the Apple downloads and the Google downloads, so you can hear me and Lord Granville's dulcet tones talking. Gee, there was quickly semi-automated offsides. Be interested to see how that gets on in the Premier League. But also, there was an interesting result in football last night. Liverpool losing 3-0 home to Atalanta. And I must admit, when I went into work, Grav was laughing. And when I went into work, it was very quiet in the depot, to be honest with you. I know some very, very vocal Liverpool fans. Actually, the socials were very quiet yesterday, to be honest, as well. And rightly so.
They went bed.
Gasparini masterclass, absolutely fantastic.
Man.
What's your quick full snap before we moving on with Arsenal?
Well, I mean, with regards, like, obviously, you know, the automated offside and so forth. I mean, if I go back to like when VAR was first introduced, I was excited. I was one of the kind of just general public that was an advocate for it. I thought, you know, great, finally, we're gonna, you know, there's gonna be no excuse, there's gonna be no grey area, there's gonna be no way that they can get these decisions wrong. And how wrong was I? I mean, VAR for me personally, I can't talk about the stats, because I'm sure there are stats out there to say that it has improved things. But in terms of me as just a spectator, as a watching fan, I can't see how it's improved the game. In certain cases, I think it's made it worse, because the technology is there. You know, you've got it, but you're still making these errors. So that obviously didn't go to plan in terms of the way I thought it would impact the game. And then obviously the flip side of that is when you look at goal line technology for me has worked. I think that in the past there were instances where the ball had crossed the line, and because you were relying on the ref's naked eye, they couldn't always pick up whether the whole ball had crossed, etc., etc. And I know we had that issue with, you know, the phantom goal at Newcastle with it going over the line, but I'm talking about goal line technology being a bit of a separate issue. From what I've seen and the games I've watched, goal line technology works perfectly. So if it's going to work in a similar way to goal line technology, then I can see it working. If it's going to work in a similar way to VAR, where we're going to be relying on the officials in the Premier League to still make decisions, then it's not going to work. So it's a case of the way it's described and what I've read, it's an automated thing. It's like a machine. It's, you know, it's technology. So it should work just as good, if not better, than goal line technology. And if that's the case, then fantastic. I think it will massively improve the game. But yeah, I just hope it's nothing even close to VAR.
Yeah, listen, I think it is a good thing to come in. I've got to be honest. Sure, they can't get this one wrong.
No, they can't.
Not with automated offsides. That there can't be an issue. Well, I'll say that, but I'm not really confident, man. Anything could happen. There's still a lot to play for now with the remainder of the games left in the Premier League and whoever's in European competition. But I can't say I was I right smiled and it hit my face when I saw the result at Anfield last night.
Well, let me touch on this, because you know what the maddest thing is, it's like, obviously I'm in quite an active group chat on X, and there's a lot of, maybe some of them are watching, I don't know because I shared the link, but there's quite a few Liverpool fans in there, and on Tuesday night when we played Bayern Munich, they were absolutely reveling in the fact that obviously, you know, we took the lead and then, you know, 2 defensive errors and, you know, obviously the whole Saka situation, which I'm sure we'll get onto. But, you know, Saliba was getting it. Gabriel was getting it. The whole Bayern Munich, you know, past trauma. We can't beat Bayern Munich. You know, they're slapping us up 10-1 or whatever it was. And then we had the whole, you know, Saka dived, you know, he's a cheat, he's this, he's that. Don't get me wrong. Like, it was, the group chat I'm in is great. I mean, it is just a bit of banter. And they, you know, they didn't go on forever. But the timeline, wow. After that game, the timeline was just crazy. And the timeline was crazy. It wasn't even just the rivals. Like, the rivals were bantering us like we'd lost.
I know.
And then there were sections of Arsenal fans, which I was arguing with. I was arguing with Arsenal fans. Arsenal fans telling me that the tie is dead, we're out, it's done, we've lost, season's over. I said, I was baffled, you know. True. I was baffled. And I just sat there and I just thought, what is this? Like, literally, like, the banter I can take in it, because I was just having a conversation before I came on air in the very group chat, and I was just saying, you know what? Like, football banter is normal for me, a bit of banter here and there, but the consistent trolling that happens on social media, for me, it's alien to me. It's something that when I was young and I was watching football, it never happened because there was no social media and all of that. So you bantered somebody when they lost the game or something, you know, if they made a mistake. But nowadays, it's like players and teams and clubs are getting trolled even on days they're not playing. Like, it's just crazy. It's constant. It's just there all the time. So it was really hilarious when, I mean, I was going to watch the Liverpool and Atalanta game, and then I decided that I was going to go to the cinema. So I went to the cinema and I watched King Kong versus Godzilla New Empire.
Yeah.
You haven't seen it. And when I came out the cinema, it was 1-0 to Atalanta. And I'll be real. I just thought, you know what? I'll go home. I'll switch it on second half.
Yeah.
No doubt Liverpool get an equaliser and go on to win the game, 3-1, 4-1 or whatever. And in the end, I didn't even watch it because my daughter had something on the TV. But I was on X and I was getting the updates. And I genuinely couldn't believe that Liverpool got slapped about at Anfield 3-0. Genuinely, I couldn't believe it. Because theoretically, that could potentially be now Jurgen Klopp's last European night at Anfield, and most likely will be. Yeah. And Liverpool, I saw a stat, Liverpool hadn't lost at home for 14 months.
Yeah.
And to get slapped about by Atalanta the way they did, I mean, even the Liverpool fans that I spoke to, they just held up their hands and said, we were trash. Like, not one single player on the pitch was any good. From Salah coming on at halftime, because I didn't watch it. So I was going by what they were saying. And in the end, I watched the highlights. But it was very interesting in that I didn't speak to a single Liverpool fan. And I spoke to at least 5 or 6. Not a single Liverpool fan made any excuses for their performance. They were just like, we were absolutely trash.
I didn't speak to any because they didn't want to talk about it.
That surprises me, bro.
They didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's that simple. It's simple as that. And the thing is, it's funny because I saw a couple of clips with where some of the Liverpool fans, when they got the draw, who they was getting.
Oh, they were happy.
They were celebrating. Yeah, they
were happy. Atalanta. Yeah. They were happy, bro. But for me, what was shocking about that was, again, it's like, obviously, like the whole Klopp announcement coming out. I'll be real. When the Klopp announcement happened, I was at work, and first of all, I didn't believe it. When I checked it and it was done, I raised skepticism about the timing of the announcement and the decision. If me being real, I think sometimes I'm just different. Sometimes I'm a bit old school. My Liverpool fans that I know said to me, "Oh no, but it gives the club time to restructure, get somebody else in." But I just thought, but you're in the middle of a season, competing on 4 fronts, and the gaffer's gonna bounce next. Like, for me, I'll be real. I can only compare it to like being in a situation where I've been in a job and then all of a sudden my line manager's leaving. Bruv, my foot's coming off the gas. I'm chilling. I'm taking 2-hour lunch breaks. Do you know what I mean? I'm not really putting in the shift I was putting in because my man or my girl who's giving me usually telling me off or trying to put me in place, they're not even going to be here. So I just thought the timing was weird. I thought it could either galvanize the team or it could destabilize the team. And I think initially, it galvanized them. But I think what we're starting, I don't want to say the wheels are going to fall off or the wheels are falling off, but we'll see, I think that the draw against United backed up with, an absolute demolition job.
I couldn't believe it.
I mean, the signs are not great.
They've got, they're lucky. No disrespect to Palace, obviously, no disrespect to them, but yeah, they could have had a harder fixture. I said this, I don't think even their away games they got left for that easy. I think they still got to go to Villa, West Ham, and I forgot the other team. I think it's Everton, is it?
Yeah, and how do they play that return leg? Do you know what I mean? It's like, what do you do? It'd be interesting because, do you go, obviously Liverpool got a very, very famous history of turning around, deficits in Europe, particularly in Europe. So do they go strong and try and turn that around, which will be incredibly difficult, or do they rotate and put all their eggs in one basket and focus on the league? It will be interesting to see what their team selection is next week.
Well, if they listen to Jamie Carragher, I'm sure they'll rotate. I saw his tweet yesterday. Yeah, a few Arsenal fans quote tweeted it, which I totally understood. But people, like I said, people, if you're new to weekly surgery, obviously it's very Arsenal heavily led. But obviously, I do talking points that happened today or maybe a couple of days ago or in recent events of football. But we'll get to the main talking point. Arsenal. I was at the game.
Nice.
Got my ticket at the ballot. People don't know the story. Yeah, I had a hat trick last week Tuesday. Wasn't going to any of the games, Luton, the Bayern Munich game, and then Chelsea. get the ticket the day before, early afternoon for Luton. See the NatWest sign pop up at the top of my mobile phone, and the money's gone out of my account for Bayern Munich. And then obviously I got a ticket for Chelsea as well through a contact. So yeah, like London buses, wait for 1 and 3 comes along at once. But yeah, it just left me broke. Trust me, man. It's expensive to go watch Arsenal, but yeah, at the game, great to be there, man. Knockout stages of Champions League quarterfinal. I don't want to spend too much time talking about the game as such because we've probably talked about it so much, but there's certain things I want to talk about. Listen, I said it's important that we try and go to the Allianz, the second leg, with a lead. That hasn't happened. It's not over. You know, the away goal rule doesn't count anymore. I think as a snapshot after the game, a few days afterwards, watching a lot of opinions, surprisingly. I said it before. I was worried about Arsenal coming back into the Champions League. I actually had Arsenal down to make the quarterfinals this season, and not beyond. But hopefully, I'm proved wrong. I think not my issue. I think the thing I saw with a lot of Arsenal fans is, and I say sections is the key word. They haven't learned. And what I mean by that, I'm going to go into context of what I say when I mean that. We drew Porto in the last 16. We're going to smash him over 2 legs, 4s and 5s, and yeah, we should comfortably get through. And I saw that, and I'm like, no, your league form and what happens in the Champions League are 2 completely different things. It's like getting a new job and being asked to outperform somebody that's got 7 years experience ahead of you in a new job. That's either impossible or it just won't happen. And that's what situation Arsenal in coming back into it. So lessons should have been learned from that. That was tough to get through Porto. And I said it in that watch when I turned it on my channel, and Judge said, if you think that was tough, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I said to a lot of people when the game was done, when the game was finished, met a lot of people after the game. I ain't seen. Big up Natalie Bermstead, man. Fresh from Sweden, met her and her brother, man. Love him. I said to people, welcome back to Champions League knockout football. That's my sentence. That's as simple as that. It was going to be tense. It was going to be bloody difficult. It was going to be hard. Again, I just found a little bit of the Arsenal kind of sections of fans a little bit dismissive of Bayern, which was criminal to do. You know, Kane, the boy can pass, man. Give him that. He can play as well. Sane was excellent. I thought Joshua Kimmich was outstanding. He absolutely marked Martinelli out of the game. You know, but you come into sort of your thoughts quickly about the game, but I mean, I saw some of the aftermath from our fan base. I'm talking about specifically. You might have seen it. People watching this live now on Instagram, on Facebook, and YouTube, and Twitter. We need an upgrade of Martinelli. Kivior was trashed. It's a missed opportunity. I'm like, if you're asking me, would I want it to go to Germany with a lead? Yeah. Did it happen? No. We ain't been in this position for 15 years. Did you think we was going to turn up and rock up at the Emirates and absolutely steamroll a Bayern Munich? Are you crazy? It's a Champions League knockout. You understand? So I was a bit perplexed by some of the sections of our fan base, I'm going to be honest. But gee, what are your thoughts generally about the game and the aftermath, in particular with our fan base in the attitude towards the draw?
I mean, every game in the Champions League, I mean, every now and then you'll get an anomaly in the Champions League where you'll get a one-sided tie. But I mean, you just have to look at all the quarterfinal games that took place. You know what I mean? That took place. I mean, look at them. You know, 3-3 City, Madrid. You look at the PSG Barca game. You know, 3-2. You look at the Dortmund Atletico Madrid game. I mean, every single tie is still all to play for.
Yeah.
Literally, it's just on a knife's edge. Perfectly poised for the second leg. Not one single game was one-sided. Not one single game. So I don't understand why, you know, Arsenal fans are going into this thinking we're just going to absolutely smash them. I mean, I get it. We're in form. I mean, we're doing very well. We're competing for the league 2 years in a row. We're scoring for fun. We're defending very well. But again, Champions League is different. I mean, I've seen teams finish, you know, 8th, 9th in their domestic league and won the Champions League in the same season. You know, so there, you know, it doesn't it doesn't mean, like you said, said 100 times, league form goes out the window. When you're in a Champions League tie. Absolutely. I mean, the game itself made a great start. Saka scored a brilliant goal. I mean, Saka has yet again just ticked another box that people give him. First of all, it was, can he do it consistently? Then it was, can he do it on the international stage? Can he do it in a Big Six game? Tick, 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 tick. Can he do it in a Champions League? Well, he's got 8 goals and assists in 8 games. He's literally contributed to every single game he's played. Took a brilliant goal against Bayern Munich. Absolutely left Davis and just curled it round Neuer, which is no easy feat. And then obviously 2 defensive mistakes. They take the lead, but I think we showed a lot of courage. And I think, I think to come back into the game. I mean, at that point, we could have completely collapsed. We could have completely fallen apart, but
easily
we kind of steadied it. We went into half time. We came out. We didn't rush it. We didn't look like we lost our heads. We didn't get too emotional. We just kind of played our football, and we got the equalizer. And to be fair, across the entire game, we were arguably the better side. If you take away the errors that, if you actually take away the errors that we did in the match, I mean, we probably would have won that convincingly. And if you take into consideration that Ben White,
do you think it was that fine margin Ben White? Just to come back to you again. Yeah, do you think it was and this is not a criticism, by the way, of Arsenal. It is an experience.
Yeah,
it is, because if you go through the team and forget Europa League, I'm not going to count that.
How many of them have been in that position?
Other than the obvious 2, which are Jorginho and Kai Havertz, there's none. If
That's
any.
That's it. So you've got a goalkeeper, a back 4, vast majority of the midfield and the front line that have never been in a Champions League quarterfinal. And the thing that I find a little bit because people were asking me about predictions, and I thought, we'll win. We'll win the first game. At the same time, I was having an interaction with an Arsenal fan, and he was gutted that we hadn't blown Bayern out of the water. And I said, when you look at this Bayern Munich side, that we should be beating 5-0. Neuer.
Yeah.
Davis.
Yep.
Kimmich.
Yep.
Kane. Sane. Arguably would all get into our first team.
Gnabry.
When you actually look at their side, take away all the sentiment and the Arsenal hat.
Coleman on the bench.
For me, and I'm an Arsenal fan, I would say, I don't know if people disagree with me, but I would say arguably they have far more world-class players than we do. In terms of if you're going to put players into a category of being world-class, I mean, they've got a world-class side. I mean, people are looking at their league form and stuff and saying, okay, that's what it is. But
you can't do that. You can't
it's Bayern Munich is still Bayern Munich. And we hear a lot of people talk about this word heritage, Champions League heritage. And it
means something. It means something.
Bayern Munich are there. It's like Madrid. I'm telling you, the years I've seen Madrid win it. And it's literally just down to the fact that they're Madrid. They just got this Champions League aura about them. And like you said, we haven't been a Champions League side for X amount of years.
But that's the thing I was saying about when I saw some of the comments about some of the players. I'm like, you do realize Martinelli's coming up against Joshua Kimmich. You understand the levels, just because we see him week in, week out in the Premier League and tearing up wingers, and you're playing against a top quality side. Forget their league form. League form goes out the window. At this stage of the competition, I like I said, I don't know every single Arsenal fan out there, but just some of the feels I was getting, and I'm like, have we learned our lesson from Porto? Really? As fans going into these big games? I'm not sure. Oh, G, you're frozen. Oh, G's gone, man. People, he's back. You're back.
Crazy,
you're back, I think. G, talk to me.
It's crazy because it's frozen, even
you're back. Oh, he's gone again.
You're frozen.
Yeah, you're frozen. Your pixel. Can you hear me? I can see you moving, but you're not talking.
Am I frozen?
No, you're there. You're talking. Yeah, you're moving now. You're moving. You're back. You're back.
Right, let me leave.
Go and come back if you can.
Let me leave and come back in.
Go on, come back in. Go on. Audio listeners, this is what happens with live stream YouTubing. Yeah, come out and come back in, G. Come out and come back in. Oh, is he back now? No, I think G, come out and come back in. People, you've got me for the meantime. So yeah, we're just talking about in terms of Arsenal buying. I don't know what you guys felt watching this back when you watch it. What you watching it now? Watch it back live. I left that ground. I'm gonna be honest after watching the game, and one, I felt glad to be back in the sort of the deep end of the Champions League. Because as I said, as us as Arsenal fans, we've wanted to have moments like this, being back in the knockout stages of a Champions League against the big boys. Because we've not had that feeling as Arsenal fans for such a long time. And prediction-wise, I went 1-0 Arsenal. I saw some Arsenal fans saying 3-1 to Bayern. Sorry, 3-1 to Arsenal, sorry. 4-1, 3-0. I'm like, no. The Champions League just bleeds different. League form does go out the window. I think we've got G coming back, people. All the listeners, we're going to bring him back in. Here we go. G, you back?
What happened there, bro?
Yeah, let me come back to you. So yeah,
I'm back. Can you hear me?
I was saying, yeah, I can hear you. I was saying to the chat, and when they watch this back, that someone put in the car, I'm going to get up on the comments actually. That's the point. We've been out of this competition for a long time. And I was saying to people, when I left the ground, I was like, you know what? As much as I wanted Arsenal to go to ever lead, and I wish I did, to be back watching a game at that level of that competition that Arsenal haven't been in for such a long time. Mm-hmm. That's why I said the comment to a lot of people, welcome back to Champions knockout stages. It's meant to be tense. It's meant to be hard.
Yeah.
It's meant to be difficult.
Yep.
Yes, we got a fantastic defense, but our bedrock of this season went missing in the first 45 minutes. And it pays.
Yeah.
Minuscule, minute details at this stage of the competition, man. So come back in, G.
Yeah, and I mean, this is what makes me laugh, because it's like the same fans that will look at the situation and go, oh, we should be rolling over Bayern Munich, are the same fans that will say, bring me Leroy Sané, bring me Kimmich. So you're expecting us to roll over this Bayern Munich side, but then you want us to go shopping in Bayern Munich for their players. It just doesn't make sense. I want, give me Gnabry, give me Leroy Sané, I'll take Davis, I'll take Neuer. Well, these players that you would take and start in your starting 11, we're playing against the team they play for. Do you know what I mean? And regardless of what's happening in terms of like league form, as we know, league form goes completely out of the window when it comes to Champions League. So it is bizarre how we have this perception, or sections of the fan base have this perception, that we just have to turn up and
we're Arsenal. That's not enough, people. It's not enough.
It's not. It's really.
Sorry, G. I want to big up Hillsy in the chat, man. Go on, Trevs. Trevs will be going to Germany, of course, man. Trevs, get that 6-pack out, mate, and then show them German lads what it's about.
At the same time,
right? Yeah.
At the same time, I'm still confident that we can go there and get a result, because that's, outside of the game, when we're talking about obviously the aftermath and what happened after the game, I was completely gobsmacked that there were sections of the Arsenal fan base that, like I said at the beginning of the show, that said that the game was done, the tie was over, we haven't got a chance, we need to prioritize the league. I heard all these narratives, and I just thought to myself, we've still got 90 minutes to play. And yes, we've spoken about Champions League heritage. Yes, we've spoken about the fact that Bayern Munich have world-class players. But we also scored 2 great goals against Bayern Munich from open play. Defensively, we're usually strong. We've gone to the Etihad, when we've kept a clean sheet. Defensively, we are strong. We can go there and score goals. The problem in Germany will be keeping Bayern Munich out.
Cool.
I don't have an issue or a concern that we won't get on the score sheet in Germany. I don't, because this Bayern Munich side has shipped a lot of goals, even at home in the Bundesliga. So I don't have any fears that we're going to go there and not get on the score sheet. My only concerns after the first leg, which I didn't think I'd have, is, are we going to be able to keep them out? And that's going to be an issue, because we had the ball. And as soon as we lost the ball, they were just at us.
Their midfield was
transitioning.
brilliant. I thought their midfield was brilliant. I thought
Yeah.
Goretzka was good. Lema was good. He
Yeah.
followed Erdogan everywhere.
We need to have a rethink of how we shape up in midfield for that return leg.
It's a big call. It is a big call. We've obviously got a big game on Sunday to get, but in terms of the Champions League second leg, Trev, you go Monday. Safe journey, man. You and the boys, Fergus, Capo, Dan. I think Danish Alex is going as well. Go on, Alex. It's gonna be an amazing atmosphere, Trev. He knows that already, and the guys going. It's going to be tough. We're going to have to go and do something. It's not mission impossible, people. You're right, G. I heard the same things that you echoed. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. If we don't go through, we don't go through. Like, what do you want us to do? Sit and cry about it?
Mm-hmm.
Of course, I want us to go there and get a result in Germany. We're going to have to go and do something that notoriously is a club in many recent years. We haven't won a big away game in Europe. In the knockout stages. It's a long time. It's a very, very long time. But listen, records are there to be broken.
Yeah.
But Trev, safe journey on the Monday, man. But G, I want to sort of come to you. We've spoken about Bukayo Saka many occasions. I've done it on my solo streams. I've done it with yourself. I've done it with many, many people. I've watched streams talking about Bukayo Saka. I'm going to try. I was thinking how I'm going to do this because I want to speak about this for a while. Great piece by Tom Canton in Football.London yesterday about Bukayo Saka. I'm going to read the tweet that you put out, G, actually, but I'm going to get your response after my little monologue if I can find it. Oh, God, where's it gone now? Let me make something very, very clear, people. And I'm speaking for myself specifically when I say this. I'm all for banter. I'm a grown-ass man of 42 years of age. I've been there, done it, I've seen it. I've been on this platform now in terms of the YouTube side of it. Will be 4 years this June. But I have to say this, and I don't care if people think I'm being oversensitive or it's not a big deal. I don't care. Because I don't sit and talk out the side of my mouth for no reason. And some of the stuff I've seen with Bukayo Saka recently, whether it be on and off the pitch, or I can take banter. I can have a laugh with people. What I see aimed at him, if I'm going to be brutally honest, it's not funny.
No.
It's personal. If I'm going to be honest, looking at it from an observer, people want to say we're biased, myself and G, or the Arsenal fans watch it in the chat. That's not the point. Obviously, you want your players to do well at your club. Whether they come through the academy or you buy someone from Serie A or Ligue 1 or La Liga, you want them to do well. But I don't get this.
No.
And the way I look at it, I think he just broke into the team probably before I started my own channel. So we're talking, 4+ years now. I'm off top of my head when Emery gave me a chance. I've never seen a footballer, G, and I'd have to go back and think a long, long time, who gets the level of scrutiny he gets just for being good at your job. It's incredible. You're looking at a guy that's gone through. I'd never forgive Southgate for making him take the 5th penalty anyway, to be honest, but that's just my own personal opinion. He misses a penalty, obviously himself, Sancho and Rashford, but I'm talking about Bukayo Saka specifically. You go through that, missing a big moment in a big football match, and you become the target of personal racist abuse. Even fast forward to the big penalty last season against West Ham. He's been England player 2 years in a row. I looked at his appearances this season: 40 appearances, 18 goals, 13 assists. I think only Harry Kane has got more goal contributions than him in the Champions League. I think he's got 8, along with the likes of Phil Foden. You've got people like Mbappe, Griezmann on that list. There's more world-class footballers if you want to go down that route. I don't understand what this is really about. I can be honest and say what I really think it's about. And G, I'm going to come to the tweet you put out, and I'm going to come to you because I'm going to come back and say a bit more. But You put out a tweet 2 days ago, right? This was I think the following morning after the game. I'm sure it was. Was it after the game? Yeah. The Saka abuse at every given opportunity with regards to what he does on and off the pitch is disgusting at this point. Whether it originates from a place of racism or jealousy, is unacceptable and needs to be called out. It's beyond banter at this point. Saka deserves better. And before I bring you in, G, I'm going to say this. I don't care if people unsubscribe. I couldn't give a toss. And I feel that strongly about it. G, as two brothers, and people know what I mean by brothers, black guys, black community, whatever you want to phrase it. We need to do better. We need to do better supporting our own.
100%.
And I'm not just talking about sport. I've seen it in certain reality TV shows. Even to pick up the phone and vote for us. We have to do better. This isn't banter. Yes, people can turn around and say, oh, it's because he plays for Arsenal. That's not good enough for the level of scrutiny this guy's getting at the age of 22 years of age. I don't get this. He's compared to every other footballer, not even in his position.
Yep.
Foden, Elise, Cole Palmer. All these players are better than him. He's got to play Champions League football. I mean, even when I'm going to bring you in just after this, and I said this before, and it's nothing new. His performance in that quarterfinal in the World Cup against Hernandez, he cooked him on the biggest stage. And I saw that podcast with Joel Bear and Scott Howson and Rio Ferdinand. And Rio Ferdinand said to the camera guy who asked the question, but did England win the game? You're an ex-professional footballer. And you come out and say that as a mitigating circumstances to say what? That Saka didn't have a good game or he didn't perform at a world-class level. This is absolute bollocks.
Yeah.
And it needs to be called out because I'm tired of it. What's this guy done wrong? Other than play football, play it well, and wear an Arsenal shirt and an England shirt. It needs to be called out. I'm sorry. I'm tired of some of these grown men of my persuasion. You want to kick a man. What? What is it? It's not banter. It's not funny. What is this? What has he done wrong? He scores a brilliant goal in the knockout stage of a Champions League quarterfinal, and now he's a cheat and a diver.
Yep.
Go and watch that. Go and watch it another 100 times if you want to. Look at Manuel Neuer's right leg. And then come back and tell me he dived. Unbelievable. G, let me bring you in, man. Tell me why you thought they need to send that tweet.
You know what it is, yeah? It's like I've watched, I'm on the verge of being 40 years of age this year, and I've watched football like my entire life. And there's been very few players that I can say have been as consistent as Saka's been since they broke into, a team's first team. From the age of 17, to now, season on season, he's got better and better and better. And every time they move the goalpost or move the criteria box, he takes it. Like I say, can he do it again next season? Done it. Can he do it for England? Two Players of the Year awards. Can he do it in the Champions League? Does it? There's always something. Even the way he, I see people ridiculing him for, his marketing opportunities off the pitch. So he goes about his business. He does these charitable events, and I see people, ridiculing him, saying it's not genuine. Then he gets his Nando sauce, and then they just make all these kind of derogatory terms and banter about it. And when I realized it got to the point of what are we actually doing?
Yeah,
is you said something there. Obviously, not to single out anybody in particular, but you said something about people of our persuasion. We're talking about race here, and there. I don't know him. I don't personally. I've never met him, and so forth. And I've seen it a few times. Not just this person in particular. I won't mention any names, but I've seen a number of black men sharing and making fun of Saka when they've shared that image of Saka where his face has been merged with a gorilla, and I've seen them share it. And this one particular person shared it in a group chat that I was in, and I called the person out on it, and I said, like, how can you share that? Like, it's wrong for somebody who obviously it's completely out of order for somebody who isn't black or from the BME community to share that. But as a black man, how are you sharing a picture ridiculing the way and comparing the way Saka looks to that of a gorilla? How are you sharing that, and how are you finding that funny? How do you find that banter? I just, like, it for me, it was like beyond belief. And I think it was at that point I realized that this Saka abuse had kind of gone to a next level. In that, regardless of what he does, I genuinely can't remember a more humble, well-rounded, grounded individual at his age. This boy is, you know, if they had something to write about this lad, they would in the media. The media can't write nothing about him. He's not a womanizer. He's not a woman beater. He don't go to parties. He's not seen getting drunk out of clubs. You know, there's literally nothing you can write about this kid other than what you said. He's good at football, and he plays his game. And for some reason, people just hate him. And it's like and what it is, it's constant. Even when I go on X a lot. And I'm telling you, even when Saka's not playing, he's trending. Every day, Saka is trending. And when you actually click on the name and you see what is being written, it's all, the vast majority of it is derogatory. The vast majority of it, you know? And it's just horrible. It's horrible. And it got to the point where I just thought to myself, you know what? Like, I just saw Saka score a phenomenal goal. Everybody talks about, oh, he freezes, you know, he doesn't turn up. Go and look at his record in the big 6 games. Go and look at them. He turns up in the big games. And all you get is, oh, he disappears. He scores an absolutely phenomenal goal. And then all of a sudden, like you say, he's a cheat. He's a diver. He's this. He's a disgrace. And I literally, the reason why I sent that tweet the next morning is because I spent the entire evening and the morning on the timeline, and I just saw abuse after abuse after abuse, ridicule after ridicule after ridicule. And I just thought to myself, like, this boy should be a national treasure. Like, honestly, like, this boy should be a national treasure. He is literally the epitome of what you want, both on the pitch and off the pitch. I've gone on record as saying I don't even believe Saka is as technically gifted and talented as some of the other footballers in his generation, before him or even after him. But what Saka does, Saka is the perfect example of hard work, hard graft, consistency. He's the model professional. He's humble. You know, he's hardworking. He's charitable. He's well spoken. I genuinely don't understand. For me, he is the most likable person. And you know what? I speak to people that are not Arsenal fans, and they're not even into football, and they know Saka, and they're like, I don't get it. I don't know why he gets the abuse he does. And that's why I put on my tweet, I don't know whether it comes from a place of racism. I don't know whether it comes from a place. It's either, a lot of it is there is a racial element to it with some fans. They will never admit 100%. It. There is. And it's very similar to the AJ thing with Saka. For a lot of the others, it's just jealousy. It's jealousy. And I don't quite understand it, because I'm a massive fan of Phil Foden. I'm a massive fan of Cole Palmer. I rate Cole Palmer. When Cole Palmer was leaving Man City, I wanted Arsenal to sign him. I'm a massive fan of him. I'm a massive fan of both of them. Like, for me, I appreciate them as ballers. At no point, like, this is what really annoys me, is at no point, when Saka plays and Saka does well, I'm not even thinking about them. I'm just thinking about, this is Saka, this is our star boy, and he's doing well. But you got fans out there, as soon as Cole Palmer does well, Saka can't do that. Foden does well, Saka can't do that. Like, genuinely, I don't get it. And that's why...
Angie, let me come in quickly.
I just felt compelled to write that tweet, because that tweet came off the back of not just that game against Bayern. That tweet came off the back of years of just an onslaught from social media.
Let me make it clear, just to follow on from what G's saying. I don't want to hear no crap about, oh, it's, you know, Arsenal fans getting rattled, and it's nothing to do with that. I'm a grown G is, like you said, he's almost 40. I'm 42. It's not about that. I'm not going to talk about, be disingenuous to talk about something like this and put it down to the fact that, oh, he just plays for Arsenal. No, it's not acceptable. Let me give you an example, because we're not United fans. Marcus Rashford socially has done some incredible things for children, basically putting food in their mouths, putting politicians in this country to shame. And yet they use words matter. That's my point. For those who, from my persuasion or maybe not, whatever, words matter. People jump on it. Then you get the elements of, as you mentioned, the jealousy and the racism. Marcus Rashford done some amazing things. Politicians have tried to use certain words to discredit this guy, and I'm not even going to get into the media side of it. Because basically what they was insinuating is, if you're going to be the war hero and you've got all this money, you feed them. You buy them the houses. Because that is what they were saying. It's an absolute disgrace. And he's a Manchester United player, by the way, people. But I support my people, because I got mad love for Rashford.
Mad love for Rashford.
So I don't want to hear none of this crap about, oh, Arsenal fans are rattled in the comments. It's not about rattling. No, it's about your almost, I'll use the word persecution if you want to call it that. And I'll use even a better phrase. It's becoming commonplace to think it's okay to talk about this guy and discredit him the way they do. It's disgusting. It's disgraceful, and it should not be happening. End of story.
Facts. It's being normalized.
And that's what great word. Honestly. So I knew I wanted to talk about this because I had a private conversation with Tom. G was coming, knew he was going to talk about it, because, like I said, we love the beautiful game as such. But I cannot sit here, whether I've got 300,000 subscribers or 1.3 or 200 or 20, I have to open my mouth and say something about this, because I don't like what I'm seeing.
It's enough now.
Do better. And when I say do better, even more so when I shout that, our own community, this, do better. It's not funny. The man has been exceptional in his young career so far. Let the man play football without being ridiculed because you support a different team. It's total bollocks. Grow up. Men our age on the platform. Saying stuff. What are we doing here? And that you're going to be sitting there talking about fines and UEFA don't do this and do that. Keep your mouth shut if you're not going to say something productive or get behind one of your own, irrespective of your club's colours. And I'm not going to say any more about it. So people, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Obviously, G's part of the Armory TV. The channel link is in the title, highlighted in blue. So multitask can do both. But yeah, people, listen, it's going to be an emotive subject to talk about. Listen, we're at the business end of the season, and things come up and talking points come up. But for me, something had to be said. And then mentioned in the chat as well, Raheem Sterling put out the tweet many years ago talking about the comparison between Foden buying a house and Toyson Adarabioyo buying a house, who's now at Fulham. I think he is at the moment. Is it Fulham now? Toyson? I can't remember. But
it is.
Yeah. And big up Raheem Sterling for doing that. Big up for him doing that, because he probably thought about it, writing that message. Should I send that? I'm glad he sent it, because he put a spotlight on the media and the way they report things and where they title things. But yeah, G, one more thing before we wrap up, because I've got a live show coming up soon, man.
No worries.
Villa on Saturday? Obviously, they played yesterday. Game Sunday. give me your quick thoughts and score prediction before we wrap up.
Yeah, I mean, must win, innit? Every single game now, between now and the end of the season, is a must win. Not so much because it's mainly because obviously we're one of 3 teams that can still win the Premier League, and we can't rely on the fact that they're going to drop points. So, in my opinion, we've got to make sure right now we've got the slimmest edge because we're at the top on goal difference, and we've got to try and keep it that way. So we need to try and win as many of our games as possible. That means winning our home games. So this is a must-win for me. I mean, there are 0 excuses. Villa played on Thursday night, so we've got an extra couple of days rest.
Yeah,
we've got a more or less fully fit squad to choose from, and we're in form. So really and truly, there are no excuses. This has to be a must-win. We play last at the weekend, so that could potentially crank up the pressure as well, depending on obviously the other results with Liverpool, Palace, and City and Luton. But yeah, for me, a must-win game. I'm confident we can win the match if we approach it the right way and we play the football we play. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 home win.
Go on, G. Yeah, listen, man. We owe Villa for that result at Villa Park, man. I'm still vexed about that. Plus, I did a live watch along for that, so I was even more vexed. But yeah, we owe them. Listen, we've got some key players back. They've got some more minutes in their legs. No injuries at the moment. But yeah, I'm looking at the game. I'm gonna go Arsenal to win. Oh, the Villa score. I'm gonna go Arsenal 2-1 actually. Arsenal 2-1. I hope it's 3-1, 4-1, but I think I'm gonna go 2-1 as a safe scoreline. But yeah, I'll go into the game on Sunday, people. So whoever's going, I will see you then. But I want to thank a brilliant guest, Lord Granville, G Talks Arsenal, for a great chat about Let's Talk Arsenal, in particular because Saka, amongst many other things, Emma Hayes, semi-automated offsides. It's been many times. But G, thank you for coming on, bruv. Where can the people find you?
No, thank you, Albert, man. It's always an absolute pleasure. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. Really good talking points. I'm going to definitely watch this back and share it because I think we talked about a lot of things that people need to hear and be debating and be discussing. But yeah, you can find me, excuse me, you can find me mostly on X. Gene Talks Arsenal is my handle. Excuse me, I got a bit of a tickle. And please do subscribe to the channel that I belong to, which is the Armory TV. But yeah, absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed the show and can't wait to come back.
Yeah, big up to you people. And of course, go and subscribe to the Armory and follow G Talks at Arsenal. And of course, your regular host for episode 31 of Weekly Surgery, Albert JTV. I will be back. When will I be back? I'll be going to the Villa game on Sunday, as I mentioned. So you might see a little TikTok video, or you might see a YouTube short. See if I get reception at the ground. It's quite difficult, yeah, people, to try and upload there. Very difficult. But watch along for Bayern Munich away. And I will be at the home games for Bournemouth and who's the other team? Chelsea. So you'll see me about, like I said, people go and get in touch with Russ with great image prints, like I mentioned before. Get them quickly back on the screen. His Instagram and his email details are in the bio. So get Russ's amazing prints, people. But yeah, that's Albert JTV. Over and out. This will be on the audio, so look out for that. Maybe I'll download that tonight, maybe tomorrow. And yeah, we'll be back for another episode of Weekly Surgery. Back very soon, people. We'll see you soon. Take care. Good night. God bless.